What if I told you that today, we could be closer than ever to witnessing one of the most talked about events in the global currency world? Yes, we are talking about the possible revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. For years, investors, financial experts, and everyday people have been waiting for this moment. And right now, the signs are pointing to something big. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the currency you hold could suddenly have a much higher value. It sounds almost unreal, but that's exactly why so many are watching closely. Today, we're diving deep into the latest developments surrounding Iraq's currency reforms, why this moment feels different, and what it could mean for anyone holding Iraqi dinars. Stay with me, because by the end of this report, you'll have a clear picture of whether the revaluation countdown has finally begun. The idea of an Iraqi dinar revaluation has been circulating for years, often surrounded by excitement, rumors, and speculation. Many have believed that one day the currency could rise dramatically in value, reflecting Iraq's true economic strength. Others have dismissed it as pure speculation. But here's what makes 2025 different. We are seeing a unique combination of economic, political, and financial factors aligning in a way we haven't seen before. Iraq is showing signs of stronger stability, their oil production is at promising levels, and government reforms are gaining momentum. When you put all these elements together, it paints a very different picture compared to the uncertainty of the past. That's why the phrase RV countdown is being repeated more and more in investor circles. This isn't just about hype anymore, it's about actual steps being taken that suggest Iraq is preparing for a major move in its currency. To understand what's unfolding, we first need to clear up the confusion between two important terms, revaluation and redenomination. Most people assume they are the same thing, but they are not. Revaluation is when the government adjusts the currency's exchange rate to better reflect the nation's economic reality. Redenomination, on the other hand, is when zeros are removed from the currency to make everyday transactions easier. Both processes can be part of a broader reform, but they serve different purposes. Think of it like building a house. Revaluation is setting the true value of the foundation, while redenomination is about making the house livable and easier to manage. Iraq has been burdened with inflation for decades, which has led to currency notes with too many zeros. Right now, a simple purchase can cost thousands of dinars. Fixing this problem requires a combination of these two strategies. So, why is there so much excitement now? Because Iraq appears to be at a stage where both revaluation and redenomination are being seriously prepared. Over the past year, the Iraqi government has taken significant steps towards strengthening its economy and financial systems. They've introduced new banking technologies, improved infrastructure, and deepened relationships with international partners. These are not random moves. Historically, whenever a country is preparing for a major currency change, these exact steps are taken first. It's like seeing builders lay the groundwork before unveiling a brand new structure. Many experts are saying Iraq is laying that groundwork right now, and the timing suggests that the next phase could arrive sooner than people expect. That's why this moment feels different from past rumors. This time, the signs are supported by actual reforms happening inside the country. Let's talk about oil, because this is one of the strongest pillars of Iraq's economy. Iraq holds some of the largest oil reserves in the world, and oil revenues remain its primary source of wealth. In recent years, production levels have increased, and exports have been stable despite global challenges. This has provided Iraq with the kind of steady income needed to support stronger financial policies. If you compare Iraq today with where it stood a decade ago, the difference is dramatic. Back then, instability and conflict overshadowed economic growth, but in 2025, we are seeing a far more confident nation with leaders focused on long-term development. Oil revenues have given Iraq the cushion to plan ahead, and currency reform is one of the biggest tools they could use to reshape their economic future. That's why oil is such a critical part of the revaluation discussion. Now, let's dive into redenomination, because this is the part most people overlook. Imagine walking into a store and needing 50,000 dinars just to buy a cup of coffee. That's the reality Iraqis face every day. It's not practical, and it's not sustainable for a modern economy. Redenomination would solve this problem by removing extra zeros from the currency. For example, 1,000 old dinars could become one new dinar. The purchasing power doesn't vanish, it simply becomes easier to manage. Many countries have done this before. Turkey removed 6 zeros in 2005, and Brazil has gone through multiple redenominations in its history. Iraq could follow a similar path, making transactions easier and improving confidence in its money. But remember, redenomination usually comes after revaluation, because first you need to establish what the currency is really worth. That's why understanding the sequence is so important. Here's where things get even more interesting. Financial analysts are pointing out that Iraq's central bank has been quietly preparing for these changes. Over the past months, adjustments in monetary policy have been noticed, along with investments in digital payment systems and banking modernization. These may seem like small steps, but they are crucial for handling a transition of this size. You cannot revalue or renominate a currency overnight without a strong infrastructure in place. Imagine millions of people trying to exchange their old bills for new ones without an organized system. It would be chaos. By improving their banking network and preparing digital systems, Iraq is signaling that it wants to make this transition as smooth as possible. These are exactly the kind of behind-the-scenes steps we saw in Europe before the euro was introduced. It may feel sudden when it happens, but the preparation is already years in the making. So what does this mean for dinar holders right now? This is where things get both exciting and complex. If a revaluation happens, the dinar could increase in value compared to other global currencies. That means the notes people hold today could be worth more. But if redenomination follows, then those same notes might need to be exchanged for new ones with fewer zeros. For example, 1,000 old dinars could become one new dinar, but if revaluation happened first, that one new dinar could carry much more purchasing power. This is why timing is everything. For investors, understanding the sequence of these events is the key to making smart decisions. Simply waiting for a jackpot moment without understanding the process could lead to disappointment. Smart preparation is what separates those who benefit from those who miss out. The real challenge for investors is the unpredictability of timing. Currency reforms are not like flipping a switch. They require coordination across multiple government agencies, banks, and international partners. Exchange systems around the world need to be updated, and financial institutions need to be ready. This takes time, but when it finally happens, it can feel very sudden. Remember when the euro was launched? There were years of planning behind the scenes, but to the public, the change seemed quick. Iraq could be following the same pattern right now. The preparation work is happening quietly, but once everything is in place, the actual announcement could come without much warning. That's why so many people are calling this a countdown. It's not that the revaluation is guaranteed tomorrow, but that the stage is being set for something big to unfold sooner than most expect. Let's shift focus for a moment and talk about the misconceptions that surround this topic. One of the biggest myths is that a revaluation means instant overnight wealth. People imagine that they'll wake up and suddenly their dinars will be worth thousands of times more. While it's true that revaluation can increase the value of a currency, it's always based on economic fundamentals. No country can magically create wealth out of thin air without backing it up with real assets, stability, and trade power. Another misconception is that redenomination reduces the value of money. In reality, if done correctly, redenomination doesn't destroy wealth, it simply changes the numbers on the bills. Purchasing power stays intact, and in some cases, confidence in the currency even grows. Clearing up these misconceptions is essential because making emotional or misinformed decisions during a currency transition can be costly. Now, what are the real signs suggesting Iraq is closer than ever to making a move? First, their government has been vocal about economic stability. Officials have made statements about modernizing the financial system and bringing Iraq in line with international standards. Second, international partnerships are expanding. Iraq is doing more trade with other countries, and stronger relationships mean more stability for currency reform. Third, infrastructure projects are gaining traction. From transportation to digital systems, Iraq is investing heavily in modernization. Fourth, the banking sector itself is evolving. The adoption of digital payments and improved banking services shows a commitment to long-term stability. These aren't random headlines. They are all pieces of a larger puzzle, and when you connect them, the picture looks like a country preparing for major currency reform. But let's not forget the role of global conditions. Even when a country is fully prepared, external factors can influence timing. Global oil prices, shifts in international markets, political developments, and even regional conflicts can either accelerate or delay a currency reform. This is why predictions are always tricky. Experts can look at indicators and trends, but no one can put an exact date on when the revaluation might occur. That's why patience is necessary. At the same time, it's also why many believe Iraq might be closer than ever. Right now, international conditions are more favorable than they've been in years. Stability is improving across the region, and Iraq's leaders seem determined to capitalize on this moment. That combination makes 2025 feel like a unique opportunity window for something historic to happen with the dinar. For anyone holding Iraqi dinars, preparation is the most important step right now. First, know exactly what currency notes you own. Some series of dinars could be treated differently during a redenomination. Second, identify which banks or currency exchanges in your area handle dinar transactions. Not every institution deals with exotic currencies, so it's better to research this in advance. Third, make sure your notes are in good condition. Damaged or worn bills may face extra scrutiny during an exchange process. Fourth, keep your eyes on official announcements from Iraq's central bank or government. Rumors are everywhere in this space, but official news is what really matters. Finally, don't make decisions out of fear or hype. Currency changes are business processes, not lottery tickets. The ones who stay calm, informed, and patient are the ones who typically come out ahead when these changes occur. Another key point to remember is that currency reform doesn't happen in total secrecy. While preparation is often private, announcements are usually public. Governments cannot change an entire currency system overnight without informing their citizens and businesses. International banks and partners also require advance notice to prepare. This means that when Iraq is ready to officially make a move, we will likely see announcements ahead of time. The secrecy is mostly in the preparation stage, not in the execution. This is why watching government statements and official updates is so critical right now. Many of the reforms we're seeing today, whether in the banking sector, digital infrastructure, or economic policy, are the exact kind of groundwork that comes before a major currency shift. It's all about connecting the dots and recognizing the larger plan taking shape. Let's bring it back to the big question. Is the RV finally here? While no one can guarantee an exact date, the evidence points to Iraq being closer than ever to pulling the trigger on currency reform. The combination of revaluation and redenomination could be the strategy that finally restores balance to the dinar and reflects Iraq's true economic strength. For holders of the dinar, this could mean major changes ahead. Whether it results in significant profit or simply easier currency use depends on how the process is managed. What matters most right now is awareness and preparation. Those who expect an overnight miracle may be disappointed, but those who understand the step-by-step nature of currency reform could be well positioned when the change finally comes. If history teaches us anything, it's that currency reforms are never random. They are carefully planned, tested, and executed in stages. Turkey, Brazil, Germany, and many others have gone through similar processes, and while each case was unique, the signs leading up to reform were always visible to those paying attention. Iraq is now showing those same signs. From banking modernization to international trade growth, the pieces are lining up. And just like in the past, once the change happens, It will feel sudden to the public, even though the groundwork has been years in the making. That's why this moment feels like a countdown. It's not anymore. It's about when. And right now, the when. Maybe sooner than many realize. For viewers watching this update, the most important thing you can do is stay realistic. Currency revaluations are not magic, and they are not instant tickets to wealth. They are complex economic events that can bring opportunities if you understand them. The Iraqi dinar is at the center of attention right now because the conditions are aligning in ways that suggest big changes ahead. But remember, timing is uncertain, risks are real, and patience is essential. Use this time to prepare, research, and protect your position. By doing so, you put yourself in a much stronger place if and when the revaluation happens. It's not about luck, it's about readiness. And readiness comes from knowledge, planning, and staying calm no matter what rumors are flying around. So here we are in 2025, watching closely as Iraq prepares for what could be one of the most significant currency reforms in decades. The signs are strong, the conditions are aligning, and the talk of a revaluation countdown has never felt more real. Whether you're holding dinars, considering an investment, or simply curious about global economics, this is a story worth following closely. The Iraqi dinar could be on the edge of transformation, and that transformation could have ripple effects across global markets. Stay alert, stay informed, and keep watching, because if the revaluation truly is around the corner, history could be made in front of our eyes. The countdown is ticking. Are you ready?